Hi everyone, thank you guys for joining us. We are on day 3 and this is the last session of the Sales Rep Festival. During this session we're going to be talking about Vision for iPad and Vision 360. So getting to see all those popular reporting and analytics that are available directly at your fingertips on Play for iPad. Just to make sure that you guys can hear everything okay, if you'll confirm that you've either selected computer or phone call audio for your audio option. And if you want to hide that panel so that you can see the screen nice and large, you can click on that orange arrow and it'll hide that panel from you. You can always click it again to bring up the panel again. So if you have questions throughout, we'll get to all the questions for you guys at the end. Feel free to type them into that questions window. In the meantime, it looks like most of you have already activated your audio, so you don't need too much assistance there. And Steve, thank you for confirming you can hear everything okay. This one's definitely the big finish, but I think this is so helpful for any of our reps that are still out there on the road and able to meet with people in person. These reports will definitely be great for you to have. So without further ado, I will introduce you guys to Todd Listman. He is our president and CEO here at Brandwise, and he's going to be taking you through all the different functionality on Vision for iPad and Vision 360. Thank you guys so much for being here, and Todd, please take it away.
Thank you, Kelly. All right. Well, welcome everybody to the last session. And yes, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't excited that it's the last session, but it's been fun. Always fun to be able to show new stuff. So we're going to go through Vision 360 and Vision for iPad, which are both iPad applications that we've had out since the beginning of the year. We've got pretty good usage on them. We get reports on a daily basis that show that we've got hundreds of reps that are using them, but want to make sure that you guys are up to speed either on your own or as an agency principal to kind of guide your sales reps through what the tool is. So if you sort of look at the series we put together, it was virtual selling, what's new on Play for iPad, and then the analytics, Vision and Vision 360, all tie into this ability to really be up to speed on everything that's going on when working with your retailer so that you know the analytics about it, you can get different information to them, so on and so forth. So let's cruise in here. So, you know, what, who, where, and how much. That's really what the key of these analytics are, being able to look at stuff holistically in your territory all the way down to a specific retailer. So we're going to go through an overview of Vision for iPad and Vision 360, and I'll show you the difference between the two, and you can get to each of them the same way. One is more specific to a customer and the other is more territory based. Why the tools are useful for sales reps now especially, although I really believe that the analytics have always been a critical piece of the business, so that, you know, as sales reps with all the value you already provide, being able to have information at your fingertips that you had on the PC and were lacking a bit on the iPad is critical. Best practices for using the tools, and then questions at the end. So as usual, we'll leave some time for that. So Vision for iPad houses many powerful components within it, both reporting, graphical, things like that. And then we've made it an interactive tool so that you as a sales rep can run reports, drill into sales orders, download visual content, the images, that type of stuff, and create reports for your retailers, send them off to them, and they can also download content. Right now, we're operating this under a free trial, which we've extended out a little bit, which we'll get into in a second. So the system is built on the trailing 13 months of order history. So when you're looking at the screen you're looking at now, which is specific to a customer, it's looking at what that customer has either purchased, what invoices are against it, what reach orders, and what future orders are that have been written or invoiced in the prior 13 months. So that's the basis of what you're looking at here. You'll get, depending on whether you're an agency or supplier, and whether the agency, if you're with an agency, if you're getting data from suppliers through invoice exchange, then you'll end up with invoice product data as well as just a summary level, which gives you some really nice ways to report, which we'll get into. So if you look at the way this graph is done, the left upper quadrant is sales orders by month. So when you go into that, you're going to see any sales orders for this customer by month. On the right side, if you're a multi-line agency, you're going to see your top suppliers. When you click into one of those, you'll see the top products. If you're a single supplier, it will default you to top products that this particular retailer has purchased from you. Then you've got your reach orders, future ship orders, or any orders that you have in the system that have a ship date later than today. And then shipments are invoices. So if you've got invoices against this customer, you'll see them in the shipments tab. So you can view orders, for instance, with future ship dates by tapping on that middle icon at the bottom, that middle tab, and it's going to take you into orders. And what you notice here is that I've got 2 sales orders for 2 different suppliers, general gift supplier and general gift supplier 2, and I've got ship dates out at the end of next month. So this is going to show you any orders that you have that way. Important, if you're calling on those customers, you want to, before you go see them, you want to make sure that you're not adding items to an order that are already on a future ship order. If you need to export these reports, any of the detail that you get into, or even the high-level analytics, are exportable. The way you do that, Steve will understand this. I know of the people that are on this call. Can pick on him a little bit. This little icon underneath customer reports is called a floppy disk. For any of you under a certain age range, you have no idea what I'm talking about. For the rest of you, it's floppy disk. If you click on that floppy disk, it'll drop down a reports menu where you can export reports out in Word, PowerPoint, PDF, any of those utilities, and they're still actionable. In other words, when you send them to your retailer, they can click on these little images on the left and download product data or image data. So you notice how this is highlighted in blue next to this little image. You tap on that, brings you into this screen where you can act on this. You can either email, download, save to Dropbox, all these different things, not just from your iPad yourself, which you can do, but these reports that get generated and emailed to your customer have active links. So even if they pull it up in Excel, they can still tap on the image and it will download it for them. So to do that download, once you tap on it, again, it brings you into the screen and you click on this little up arrow here. You click on that up arrow, and this is all standard iPad-y stuff. It's going to bring you into how you can share that. So you can share it through your email, you can share it through messages, you can copy it, you can paste it, all of these different types of things that you can do with that image. And again, when you send it to your retailers, they can download that same content. If you send it in an email, it's going to send the image, and it's also sending this image URL. So if you try this at home and you copy this image URL out and paste it into a web browser, it'll bring you to this picture. So that means that you can use that URL in different ways. So maybe you say, look at this new selling item, and you put that URL as a hyperlink behind it. When your retailer clicks on it, or in your social media, it will take them to show them what that picture looks like. So there's some creative things that you can do with that. And they can also use this URL to get those assets for their social media or their web pages as well. So it's pretty cool the way that works. So now we're going to get a little bit more into the higher level of how this works from a map level. So when you look through anything Vision for iPad, you have different colors, whether states, zip codes, counties, or retailers, they're broken into these colors. Anything green, state, retailer, zip code, county, means that that area or that retailer is either even or up year over year for that 13-month period. Yellow pins mean that whatever you're looking at that's yellow is either down 1% to 20%. So they're going to show up yellow again, whether it's a retailer or it's a state or it's a county. Red pins start to get a little concerning. Those red pins are areas or retailers down greater than 20% year over year. Gold pins, which are a little bit bigger, and I'll show you that, are pins where you have saturation of customers. So you can't see them all, or you wouldn't be able to tap on them. So when you tap on a gold pin, it actually gives you an expander like a little spreadsheet, shows you the different color pins and who the customer is, and you can tap on them from within that. Blue pins, arguably the most interesting and important of the pins. All of the ones above show you what's happening. Who's buying? Are they buying as much as they did? They're buying less than they did. Blue pins show you retailers in your territory assigned to you either by hard code or by zip code that have not purchased from you in the last 26 months. Those are your opportunities. And they're going to show up all over your map where you want to see them. So if you're going somewhere, you're calling on people, you can see these opportunities visually. So let's kind of go through how that works. So you can visually target these opportunities with Vision 360. So Vision 360 is the top one on your tiles when you go onto the home page. When you tap on that, it's going to take you into a mapping tool. It's going to start with customers near me. Now, customers near me, and this is an important thing, if you go to this and you don't see anything but the world, the very first time you go into this, it pops up a dialog, and this happens with your iPad all the time, and it says, can I use your location for this application? Gives you 3 choices. One is yes, all the time. The other is only when I'm in the app. And the last one is never. And if you choose never, it actually never lets you see any of this data. So there's a way to fix that. You can go into your settings and you can change that back. But if you're not seeing anything, that's likely why. You may have inadvertently answered that question as never when you first went into it. But what customers near me shows you it defaults to 5 miles, and then you can expand it by typing the distance in here. What you're seeing on here is green pins, blue pins, gold pins. I don't see any yellow pins or any red pins in this particular area within 15 miles of my house, which is what this is looking at, because that's where I'm located. So it's going to show me all of that information here, and I'll show you in a minute how you can get rid of the blue pins if you have too many of them, because you can sometimes get into an area where you're trying to see what you sold and all you have are blue pins. Then you can add the blue pins back in later. So you tap on a pin to get more detail. If you tap on a gold pin, it's going to have a screen that you go to first, and then you, as I mentioned, that looks like a spreadsheet. Then when you tap on a customer, it'll take you to this screen. What this screen is the customer summary. So it's showing you who the retailer is, their last year's sales versus this year's sales. So this was a green pin because I'm up 100% because I didn't have any sales for this customer last year. This customer has one sales order for one supplier, and that order is written on 2/15/2020. So that's the high level data. You can also then from here tap in to get Google directions, tap into your customer dashboard, which is the one we originally looked at, or go to a supplier dashboard. If you click on Google directions and you're connected to the internet, which you have to be, or you're not going to see any of this, and your location is on, it's going to see where you are, and it's going to give you directions to where you're going. So it's pretty cool. If you're trying to prospect or do these other things, you can see approximately how far that drive would be. Do I make the drive? Do I make a phone call? Do I, do a virtual appointment with them? What am I going to do? Pretty cool the way that works though. So that's customers near me. Now, if you click on this gold box at the top, you can toggle between customers near me and your customer territory. When you click on the customer territory sales, it's going to give you the US or Canada. We heard yesterday somebody was having an issue with Canada, so if you're having those issues, let us know, but it should work for that zip code range as well. So again, same colors, right? Green is up, yellow's down, red is downer. So that's how that stuff looks. And you can drill into any of those. So if I want to drill into Colorado, I tap on Colorado. It's going to drill me into counties, same colors. Tap on a county, it's going to take me into zip codes. Again, same coloration. All my zip codes in Jefferson County are up, flat or up. From there, when I tap on it, I end up at retailers within that zip code. Again, you can see here I've got blue pins and I've got gold pins. I also have prospects true. So I was saying earlier, if you don't want to see the prospects yet, in this case, it's great because I don't have a lot of sales, but if you have a whole bunch of stuff, it sometimes is beneficial to turn those off while you're looking at customers you sold, and then you can go turn it back on. So that will toggle that on or off. Then if you click on customer dashboard, it's going to take you into the dashboard. And that dashboard we saw at the beginning with the 5 quadrants. What I've done here is I've clicked on shipments. Shipment takes me into my shipments or invoices month to month. If I click on one of those months, it's going to take me into the detail. If my company gets invoices through Invoice Exchange with line item detail, I can actually see the items that have been shipped and whether they're on back order for every item that's shipped on this invoice number. So it's against a specific customer for gift supplier, general gift supplier. The invoice date was 9/23 of last year, and here's the information. Some great things with this report. I can send this report to my retailer and say, here's what shipped on this invoice by detail. It's also telling the retailer at the time that you send that report, if that product is still available. It will show available, as you can see in green. It will show that the product is unavailable if it's been inactivated, and it will show that it's been discontinued in blue if it's been discontinued. So when the retailer's looking at it, they know right away what the status is as of the time you send them the report. And they can click on any of these images on the left side and download those images. Even though it's not on the iPad, it's coming to them in a report, they can still do all of that from that report. So pretty cool stuff. So if you haven't already figured out why to use it, I'll tell you a few more reasons why you should use it. So vision is critical for sales reps. As I mentioned, now, always. Being able to get these analytics is huge. But preparation now in the environment we're in now and the environment we're going to be in from what we can understand well into next year is preparation is key. Knowing that when you talk to a retailer, that you know what they bought, you know what's on back order, you know what's been shipped, you know what's on future orders, what they ordered through Reach, so that you're completely up to speed and you're not saying to them, hey, I think you should buy this, and they're not coming back and saying, yeah, I just bought that. You know everything that's going on, so you're adding just that much more value to the value that you already add to them. Actionable data is critical. What do we mean by actionable data? It means data that you can act on. Sales order data, sales data that says this is what I sold you is great, but it's not necessarily actionable. You can say to them, hey, you bought this last month. What you want to be able to do is say, hey, I see that you've got product that are on future ship dates, or I see that you've got product that shipped, but these items are on back order. or I see that you did this, or I see that you did that. You want to be able to give them information that helps them with the next order, and that's what actionable data does. Providing retailers with complete details of what they bought and what's shipped and all of this information sets you apart from other sales reps. I mentioned that we get hundreds of sales reps that use this on a daily basis. We have 4,500 sales reps that use our applications. Most of them use iPads. So even now, for whatever reason, reps are not really adapting to using these tools, but those that are, provides tremendous advantage to you, and it provides incredible value to your retailer. The retailer's expectation is higher on all fronts. They want you to do things that you've never had to do before because times are difficult. And analytics and reach sites and being able to work with them virtually are all critical pieces to your success with your retailers today. You guys know this better than anyone. The flexibility of the system allows for reports to be saved, as I mentioned, in all kinds of different formats, PDF formats, Excel formats, depending on what your retailer wants. So if you get a retailer that, can you send me the Excel of my orders? You can now do that from the iPad. Go look up the history, send them the Excel. Not only can they work with it in Excel, but they can download images and they can see all that type of information. Great flexibility. Why is the Vision 360 vital, which is the map tool? It's the ability for you to see your territory. It's very, it's one thing to look at the numbers and to, go in and search for customers and things like that. But when you can visually look at your territory, Denver or Aurora or Kansas or Montana or wherever you happen to be, visually, here's the customers I've been selling to. And oh my gosh, here's 200 customers within a 30-mile radius around the customers I've sold to that I'm not selling to. Now, some of them may be out of business, which means you can act on that. This customer's out of business, inactivate them in your database or have your head office inactivate them so they come off, so you're not seeing them all the time. But other ones are great leads for you, incredible opportunities that you can see visually, which is just huge. Powerful analytics available from the iPad. Again, this is a free trial that we started last year. We extended it last year. We extended it again through March or through November. We're now extending it through March. If we're still in this ridiculous time that we're in now in March, and times are still difficult, we're still in this uneasy place, we'll extend this again. We really want reps using this tool. It's critical now, so we don't want to say, oh, we're gonna, you have to pay for this now to use it. When we get back on our feet, we'll figure that part of it out. Some best practices. Review the area that you're working to see active customers and products, right? So again, just looking at it to understand if you're gonna go out, and surprisingly to me, a lot of reps are visiting customers. So even though you're having to stay 6 feet away and figure out timing, you can use this tool to go call on new customers. And prospects, what we mean by that, which is pretty clear, are, again, to reiterate, customers that are in your territory that have been assigned to you but have not purchased from you in 24 months, 26 months, sorry, 13 months trailing times 2. So great opportunities. All the stuff I just went through. You can tell I've done this 3 days in a row because I'm getting ahead of myself. Building a territory to ensure that your top accounts are being contacted each week. So as you're going through the different territories, looking for those green ones, going in, seeing what the numbers are that they're buying, all that type of stuff, to know who you need to call on and balancing that out. The green ones, while they're up, you want to make sure you take care of them. Yellow and red, why are they declining? Those are active customers. They've bought in the last 13 months, they're just declining. So knowing that information. And just pulling one quote of the many we've gotten, and if you guys are using this, you probably have a few as well. But again, Brandwise map being a game changer. Because of that point I was bringing up, even the areas I thought I knew, I didn't know. Because there's so many opportunities in those areas that are coded to you, little mom and pop retailers you don't know about. Best advantage of the product. Okay. So again, there's a lot you can look at it. I'm happy to run through more of this when we get into the Q&A portion. If you guys aren't an insider yet, highly recommend that you get there. It's our Facebook private group, sales agency, sales rep, suppliers only. Great format for asking questions, answering questions, looking at product that Brandwise is thinking about, being able to give us commentary on that, speaking to Brandwise people. It's just a great environment for that. There's over 800 of your peers there. So a really good place to go. So if you want to get on there and you're not, text insiders to 33777 and we will send you all the information you need. And I am done, barring any questions or anything that you want to see live about how this tool works. Callie, what do we got?
Awesome. Mary asked, is there a way to make a customer inactive? Of course, the first one that I pulled up is no longer in business.
Yep, I will show you how to do that. Okay, Get my iPad. Okay, so when you're in an order, so if I go to create new order, and we'll go into a bill address. So I'll click on Brandwise, and we'll choose one of these. And when you select, you have this edit button. And if you click on the edit button, you've got this flag over here that would allow you to inactivate that customer. So if you slide that slider over, that customer will become inactive. So that's how you can inactivate them on there. Yes? Cheryl, was that your question? Hello?
Oh, no.
Oh, okay.
Nope.
Okay. Well, hopefully that answers
I was
that
just
question.
trying to get, okay. Well, I just saw to be a Brandwise, that number 33777, and I tried it. I wasn't sure what that actually meant.
Yeah, so did you text that from your phone?
I tried, but I must have done it wrong. Do I have 33777?
You just put 33777 in the number. So you basically text that
Okay.
number, send something to Callie, and she'll bring you into the group. And if there's a problem with doing that, we've got a different way we can work with you on, Cheryl, after we can send you a
All
link.
right. Thank you.
You bet.
Awesome. Thanks.
Yeah, so for the text message itself, just make sure that it says insiders, and then the number that you're texting it to is 33777. And then it should.
Okay.
And then I also put in a link to the Brandwise Insiders Facebook group that we have, where we have almost like 800 members between agencies, sales reps, and suppliers that are all in there interacting and everything with us. So
Thank you.
yeah, of course. And Steve, it looks like you raised your hand, so you should be able to unmute yourself.
Yeah, sounds good. Well, you're probably tired of hearing from me today. Anyways, can you maybe, Todd, you can define those prospects a little more? I've been a little confused, and I'm wondering if other people, like the prospects, are they people that haven't bought within the last 26 months, that are only in our agency system, or are they in the Brandwise ecosystem?
Yep. Yeah, they're in. So what they are is they're in your system only, Steve. So they'd be in the Johnson Waters. And then if I'm a rep, they're in my territory. So they're whatever you've assigned to that sales rep. So as a principal, you'll see everything that you have in your world. So it's not everything in the Brandwise ecosystem, just what's in your system.
Got it. Great. Thank you.
Yep. And again, we've changed this a little bit. So you can see on my live screen, I've got my distance out to 20 miles. So you can see green pins, red pins. I do want to tap on a gold pin. So you can see what I was talking about there, where it brings up multiple pins. So now I've got 2 customers under that. And then if I tap on one of those customers, that's where I'll end up on the dashboard. That brings me into that particular customer. That's where I can do all the drilling. But I can also toggle on prospects. So I'll toggle those on. Steve, to your point, I'll view report again. Now I'll get all of the prospects overlaid as well within that 20-mile period. So you can see it kind of gets things a bit. If you have a lot of prospects, it can add a lot of pins. If you click on a blue pin, you're going to get a Google map to go there. You don't get a customer dashboard or anything because they haven't bought from you. So the only thing you can do is click on the Google map, and it will say, oh, okay, this prospect is obviously 1234 something Avenue is not real, so it's not taking me anywhere. But that's where it will map you to that particular retailer, even though it's a prospect. So again, prospects are in your database where they haven't bought in that 26-month period. And this gold, interrupt me, Cal, if anybody asks a question. This gold box up here is where you can switch to the map view. So if you tap on that, that's where you get the sales rep customer map. And that's the one that takes me into that map that shows me everything that's going on. You see the suppliers tab up here. This is going to show me as a rep everything in my territory for all of my suppliers. If you were to click that down and pick a specific supplier, it would limit what you're seeing to that one supplier. So if you hit view again, it's going to limit down to just a single supplier. So that's how you can kind of look at it a bit more specifically if you want when you're looking at your mapping tool. So when you see any of those type of filters, that's how you can use those. So you can see in gift supplier 2, I've only sold in Colorado. And then I could click through into Colorado and it will take me into the counties that I've sold in that particular supplier in Colorado. So it'll just continue to drill me down. So I've sold in 1 county, and I probably sold in 1 zip code, and I probably sold to 1 customer when we get down to nope, I've sold in 3 counties. So I do have some green counties, even though overall I'm red. So if I click on a green county, it's going to take me down into, or excuse me, a green zip code. It'll take me down to the retailers in there, which as you can see is 1 retailer I've got, and that retailer happens to be green. So that means that they're up year over year, $13. It's a big one. But anyway, that's how all that stuff works. So that's how you can toggle between your customers near me and your mapping tool.
Awesome. We have another question in terms of prospects. Is there a way to get all of the customers to show in prospects, not just those that work in our agency?
Not right now. It's just agency customers. So there is, we have some tools in a different product that we have that lets you do some searching, which as we continue to advance on this, we may let you search in supplier vision. You could go into a 360 product and you can type in like gift stores, and it'll go out and show you all of the gift stores in that area, which I think is what you're asking for. So that would be something that would be an enhancement that we could add in to allow you to search for retailer types or different types of storefronts, and then add those as a different pin. So we've got blue for prospects in your system. Maybe we could add that as some other color or some other shape that would show you that those are other companies that aren't in your database yet, but fall into the type of store that you sell to. That's a really good idea.
She says this is all amazing. I'm glad you like it, Mary.
Oh, cool.
And then also, do you want to talk a little bit too? I kind of hinted at this earlier with some of our sessions, just about how this is a web-based platform and how this is going to continue to support the reps down the line.
Yeah, so there's a number of different things that we want to do with this platform. So interestingly enough, even if you're using a laptop and you're using sales analysis, that's now a web-based tool. So when we updated that, it's a web tool, just happens to be in the app. The tools like Vision 360 and Vision for iPad are also web-based tools, so they would work in a browser. So we'll add these type of tools when we get the reps into Passport and the agencies that are already in there, we'll start adding reporting into Passport, which means that as a rep, you could go to a browser, go to Passport, do some different business in there and run these reports. By the same token, we'll be extending this type of information out to your retailers, so they can then run analytics themselves on their, how are they doing with your agency and how are they doing with other companies they work with within the same system. So getting more and more of this advancements to where you've got a single source for analytics and reports that you can run from whatever platform you're on, whether it's your phone, which you'd be able to do, or your iPad or your PC. So that's kind of where all that stuff's heading. Not to be dependent on a specific platform.
Awesome. I know that you always say that you're not actually going to move things over to an iPhone or something like that, but this is going to be the first of it.
Well, I mean, right now, Passport and Transit and Reach run perfectly from a phone. So as we get more of these things built into that, they're built to be able to do that, which is really pretty cool.
Yeah, so I know this functionality is exciting for that. Mary, looks like you unmuted too.
Yeah, well, I'm curious, is there a report that you can run to give a date range, like who hasn't ordered in the last 3 months, and pull up all your customers that hasn't ordered with a certain supplier?
There is not a way in the report yet to do that because we've got a fixed date. One way that you can do that as a workaround is you can use your find orders. So what you could do in here is you can go into supplier limits and pick a specific supplier, let's say give supplier 2, and then you could go into your order date range, custom dates, and go back, let's go back a few months. And then that would take you, and it would say, so if you look at the bottom of here, it says, I'm looking at any orders 9/1 to 12/30. Let me make sure my view is everything. Yep, I've got everything. And that, while it's not a report, would show you and you could pick a specific customer, all of the orders for that particular customer in that date range. So not exactly what you're looking for, but one way that you could see it on the iPad. But those are the types of things that we'll continue to build into that new reporting kind of that we started at the top, adding more and more enhancements. So that's another good one. Date range is definitely something that we've looked at doing. And actually, that's not necessarily true. Let me show you something. If we go into,
it'd be great to see who hadn't ordered, who you're neglecting. That would be great.
Yeah, the neglecting piece of it's going to be obviously in the 26-month period, you can see that. But one of the things you can do if you pick a specific customer. So if I look in here, this is limited to this customer. And remember, I'm going back 13 months. So it's showing me that I only have sales in 3 months. So that's one way to look at it. Again, you're not able to get the date range specific, but those are things that we'll be putting into it. And then what we've done and we'll continue to do with products like analyzers is allow for analyzers like pivot tables. And that's where you can start to see things that aren't happening. So you can say, I want to see all of my customers for this supplier over the last 12 months. And it will show suppliers, it'll show you retailers that have bought, as well as retailers that have not purchased. And that really gets you into that, who am I neglecting type of view. So those are the types of things that we'll continue to enhance on.
And how do you get to that you just mentioned? Or
What,
that's one you're working on?
Not yet. You can't get to that in here. If you do happen to have a PC license, you can run a lot of this stuff in the sales analysis on that, where you can see some of these things, but again, more sales oriented. But we're trying to get more things into these analyzers that we'll make available that aren't there yet. But it's part of what we're working on in the 2.0 platform that will give us that capability to provide it through Passport to give you more of that type of information to see holes. Makes good sense.
Awesome. Well, people might get 14 minutes back in their day if you guys are out of questions or anything like that for us. But I hope that you guys have been able to kind of take away a lot of information from all the sessions that you've attended today.
Of course, they're all recorded, so you can rewatch them over and over again if I talk too fast for you. Cool. All right. Anything else?
I think that covers it. Steve said fantastic.
All right.
Well,
Well, thanks everybody. And this will officially be the last time I speak to you guys this year. So have a fantastic new year. And we'll look forward to seeing you on the other side of this crazy 2020. So have a wonderful holiday, and we'll talk to you guys next week. Take care.
Thank you, you too.
Bye, everyone. Happy New Year.